Okay. I would say that these Let's Plays are optimally placed, either optimally done as either streams or edited videos, but this is what we're doing right now, and I've already started this one, so it's happening. The thing about Wonderlands, though, is it is short. A question to you gamers out there: should characters have that huffing and puffing sounds begin to happen when they run a little while longer than normal? If you're going to give people unlimited sprint, should you also make them have to deal with, as a repercussion, and no game was worse than this than Borderlands 3 with Zane. Is that fair? Thought we shared the same banner too. It's a melee only banner. I should probably spend at least 2 episodes just designing the banner. That seems fair. What do you guys think?
Welcome to Izzy's Fizz, where all liquids consumed on premises are just soda and nothing else.
Shit, you know Izzy's a kink for somebody, especially in these waning days of the pandemic. See, I should just take a bunch of this shit that I thought would, you know what, I'll make it into a build somewhere, somehow. I just want rid of it now. My bank's almost full. Obviously, I just broke the shit out of the game by going through the bank that fast. It didn't freeze, but it's going to be a minute for the game to catch up. Any day now. Just you wait. Oh, I just made a mistake by hitting store. Oh, we did it. Sweet. I guess we're still technically in the tutorial phase. They're still trying to teach us how to do this thing. Well, we know there's no changing Celine, and those that get it, get it.
And right here is our lost loot machine. Very popular. Any nice stuff your enemies drop but you happen to miss will just show up right in here.
Your hint is Kate.
Plenty of citizens who might need your help out there in the world. Some of them hang out here in the soda tavern. Some put up posters around the city. It's been so busy, and I've been pulling non-alcoholic pints all on my own today.
Non-alcoholic pints. There you go.
Lip flapping while you could be off adventuring.
T for teen.
Fate Maker! Got a little surprise for you. The Queen is so impressed that she wants to knight you.
Okay.
Just in the main square.
Alright, we did Valentine's dumb quest stuff. Let's go pillage the countryside. I want some loot.
What? Heroes don't pillage? No, we're almost done with the quest. I want to see what happens.
Yeah, you would.
Okay, butts down and getting at it. So this is actually literally just starting. Maybe post-Zomboss is the best place. Maybe that's the best place to start these Let's Plays. Considering this is an established franchise, and most of the mechanics are identical to Borderlands 3, they do hold your hand for a little while longer than I'd like. But at the same time, I guess pacing it out makes it feel like, yeah, you're playing the game, but you're still learning the game.
Kneel and be knighted.
Not so fast, Dewey. This is my world now.
I think loot should come out of its neck instead of diamonds.
No!
Look at that. L'Oreal, Mike, whatever the fudge. First time I noticed that they actually tried to fight the Dragon Lord.
Your master's age of heroes is over, and soon her whole world will follow.
I can't believe it. The Queen is dead.
But Stallion! No! Tina, what the hell?
I don't know, man. That wasn't supposed to happen. Just let me think for a second.
She really thought she could run you through the same old hero's journey as always. Well, not this.
The same old hero's journey as always. With something beyond even her, thy bard with vengeance.
What once felt so sure is now fragile and broken. Still, one truth remains standing amidst.
So is the note taker all Roland stuff? Because it's Roland's voice. I've got all the notes. I just haven't bothered to listen to them.
So, a great big booming sound rings out.
Ray hells. What now? It's coming from beyond the docks.
We've updated the Chaos Chambered feature run to include the nature aspect puzzle so Fate Makers can access the Maker boss. Oh.
She left me with all her glittering heart. I miss her so much.
As in the raid bosses. There's always raid bosses available in the featured run, which is nice. And a lot of people say they don't like the featured run. Or not the featured run, but they don't like the way they did raid bosses in Wonderlands, but I do. One thing we haven't done for a really long time, and I'm trying to find it, is utilize the RSS feed. Back in the streaming days, when I would be struggling to figure something to talk about,
Oh, I know what it is.
I just pop out my RSS feed. And we had a really good one.
Dark citadel across
Learned how to make one and everything just so we could,
has the sword
and it had an aggregate of all the big gaming stuff.
thing in the Wonderlands.
What the hell is it though?
Our fates are sealed.
Hey, ask him if we're still getting night.
Still looks cool though, right? Great skybox design, great backgrounds.
You
I really like the Firmicon, or Pyramid. I think it's Pyramid.
I know we're still in the mourning period, but am I still getting knighted?
Only our queen had the power to bestow a knighthood. But you do deserve an honor,
I am kind of itching to do some State of Decay. Hope update 30 gets here fairly soon.
fate maker. Or just crouch if your knees hurt.
Finally took a long enough break that I feel like I could. Oh yeah, I gotta kneel before this thing, which is their pronoun. They're a thing.
Right hoof. I name thee
Where the hell is the thing?
realm.
Oh, I got all kinds of stuff.
man, that's some dragon dookie.
I know it's not much, but it'll have to do. For your new quest is none other than to save the Wonderlands itself.
To save the world.
Pyramid. Take back the Sword of Souls.
I bet you could beat this game in 5 hours
Vessel.
if you went really, really hard.
Whatever resources we have are at your command, Fate Maker.
Untold Stories of Anthem. I was able to find that. We know that's going to come in handy any day now. So is that it? Oh, Dockmaster. We got Torg, but Torg's really fun until he starts saying some really stupid shit.
Hi there. I need to get across this here ocean. Great stuff about your ships.
To do.
Post-haste. Come and craft your new vessel.
What the hell happened? Do RSS feeds no longer exist? I think it was Feed Reader. Yeah, there it is. Now I gotta log in with Google, and I think I maybe used this account. I have to be careful because once you use it, Did it. Found it. RSS feeder discovered.
Such a beauty of the sea.
Hooray.
She's a wreck.
I'll put this into
I dub her the good ship
stream bar. We didn't do this in the Let's Play I did with Tucker, so I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to get into shit. How the Call of Duty turned war into a profitable circus. Well, you know that's going to be Kotaku.
We're so close to taking off.
Friday, 6 o'clock. Let's
That's just how it works, man. Gotta follow the rules or get cursed.
let's read it. Feed reader.
Ultimately, our resident bard disappeared in the invasion. Death is the artist.
I think this character is here for like
What?
this moment. And that's it.
With the skeleton and they eloped. There is one other man who can bless your ship.
My niece has gone and seen Sonic the Hedgehog 2 like 4 times.
That'll be your only hope for crossing the ocean.
And even though Jim Carrey's an anti-vaxxer, like he can't make
He returned
a movie that doesn't make money, I think.
if he yet still lives.
Ooh, the weak wild.
I've yet to even see the first one.
In a good way.
Movie's making bank though.
Magical forest to the source of Brighthoof.
Sorry. Did you say Sorth?
Yeah, you know, fantasy directions.
People love unpacking. I should download that on Game Pass.
The badass
You see what I mean by
The pictures?
5 to 6 minutes of...
The good ship
Oh, here, I'll show you what happens here.
fears no curse. Cast
We gotta preload dialogue.
gonna get cursed drowned.
I bet Elden Ring's really good. I think that's something that kind of hurts Wonderlands that came out right around the time of Elden Ring. And Ring was, you know, hugely critically acclaimed. See, look, this is all you gotta do. Imagine if there was a speed run involved in that. Like you could somehow get under the ocean and go ahead and fast travel out to the overworld section over there. People will probably figure it out. Wow. This is actually an interesting article.
this detour and find a stupid bard. But then we're going on the
Outriders, one of Square Enix's last remaining Western IP, didn't turn a profit in 2021. And I know that Outriders was super slow to get a patch, but when it did get a patch, it was huge. And now they're finally releasing a big DLC. So they've been taking their time with that one. And I want to get, but we have a Let's Play going for that I should wrap up because I hate just leaving them unfinished. I just lost interest. And people lost interest generally with that game. I'm not alone in that. That game kind of had a very brief life. I loved that first week of it though. I was really enjoying it. First week or two. I know that Shadow actually was at Endgame. So that GTO thing and Mount Crawl is like one of the weirdest things about Wonderlands. It's a pretty short game, but there's 3 rather large areas in the game that you can completely skip. When I was doing my main and I was trying to 100% it dawned on me that like I had to do all this backtracking, which was really annoying actually, especially doing the marbles, but holy shit, they just like, you don't have to go and do the Jack and the Beanstalk thing that Tucker and I did. That's one of those areas. You could just ignore it if you wanted. You can ignore Mount Crawl, and there's one other area towards the end of the game. Sunfang Oasis, I remember now. They're huge. Like, they did a lot of work on those areas, and you can just completely ignore them if you want. So obviously they had a plan there. I know the demo that they gave to all the big influencers, as they call them, was just Mount Crawl. Our phone never shuts the fuck up. This might be rated T for teen, but this is officially M for mature. It's crazy how much spam we get. We need levels so side quests are happening. Things are looking good for Square Enix. Following the bombshell news earlier this week that the Japanese publisher is officially offloading a suite of 50+ IP to Embracer Group, it was revealed that it would be keeping 3 of its non-Japanese IP for the foreseeable future. Just Cause, Life is Strange, and Outriders. I've never played Life is Strange. I know that some people really love that game. My nephew loves Just Cause, and we already talked about Outriders. I think the only thing that hurts Outriders is it's a little too dark for its own good. I know people are like, that's lame, but it came out during the pandemic, and it was like just very, you know, mature. It was like death, despair, cannibalism, it takes itself a little too seriously, I think. Not, it doesn't need to be Borderlands, which probably does too much fourth wall stuff, too much corny stuff. But Outriders was really like if Michael Bay was a horror film director. Whilst we don't have intimate breakdowns of how the first two IP in that list have performed for the publisher, it's safe to say as legacy brands are quite popular. Life is Strange has carved out a niche for itself since the first game launched back in 2015, and Just Cause has always found a place in the gaming community since its first game in 2006. It's like the streaming days, but I'm not streaming, and I'm reaching a much shallower, narrower audience, whatever.
You see a craftsman
I'm talking to myself.
which is like disturbed.
No, it's
One thing about Wonderlands that they're doing a good job at for now, another Battleborn thing too. People might remember that Battleborn was actually doing a patch a week when it first came out. They've been doing that with Wonderlands. They've been doing little events. They've got a pretty good one running right now. 2 weeks though. They usually just run a week. Maybe 2 weeks for this one because it's better. But maybe also the hotfix a week is already too much. Which would kind of suck because this first DLC we all know is not good. Not good. We should do that though. That's what I should do to change it up, because I've heard the DLC is kind of fun if you engage in it early game. So I think maybe we'll do like main story. Maybe I'll go ahead and knock out. I'll do DLC then Mount Crawl or vice versa, one of the two. Okay, Just Cause has always found a place in gaming community since the first launch in 2006. Outriders, though, is a different story. We heard last year the developer People Can Fly didn't receive royalties from Outriders, and there was some issues with the profitability of the game. No royalties from a game they made? They made no money on a game? That doesn't make sense. I mean, it had a really good launch week, and then they released a patch and they nerfed a bunch of stuff, and then there was like a lot of bugs. I remember there was tons and tons of bugs, which is probably another case of the game kind of taking itself a little too seriously. But it's done better than Anthem, for God's sake. At least it's still around and still trying to be something. I'll probably never get over Anthem. Not that I even love the game, but just how much bullshit that was. Documents that Square Enix has... Oh, I'm gonna die. Melee only one life run. Let's go. Square Enix has yet to make revenue that exceeds the cost of development, marketing, distribution for the title, so it has yet to break a profit. There just hasn't been that much demand for Outriders, apparently. That's why the looter shooter genre is struggling, but Outriders also just had like a bad couple weeks. Now, I remember what it was with Outriders now. Come to think of it, it was because their online didn't work. You'd go to play the game and the servers would be down, and so you couldn't play it, and it got like really bad to where 9 times out of 10 you try for the first like month of that game. Yeah, absolutely, that was the problem. That when I was hooked on it, I was hooked, and then the game was basically unplayable. Literally, you couldn't get it because the server, and just gave me time to move on and find different games. And that's a huge problem because once a game gets shelved, it's tough to go back. Like, this DLC coming out looks cool, but it's $30 for a game that I haven't touched in a year. I can't justify that. It's too bad, because I saw it finally got a big update. New Horizons, that was some time back though. That game had a lot of potential and has one of the best crafting systems across all looter shooters. Also thought the third-person action was good. It's really hard though. That was another thing about it. It's tough. But it thankfully had pretty good checkpoints. Just swinging a bat, just swinging a bat. Now when I go, see, sometimes that's Borderlands for you. Damage just randomly spikes. You can't explain it. There probably is some math behind it that you could figure out, but good luck finding any consistency in why that math is proccing, which means the math's flawed anyway. Just accept that it's a Borderlands thing. Physac lives in the code of Borderlands. the DPS simulator. Bah! 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 That's right, bitch. The document states that today, People Can Fly still doesn't receive royalties from Outriders sales, since the game has not been profitable enough for Square Enix to begin that part of the development agreement. Wow. Group received no royalties. Watch, it's actually had a huge profit, and Square's just like, well, technically. It's like how you make your taxes. You gotta come up with like 50,000 things that cost your business money. Those are deductibles. Just swinging a bat, just swinging a bat. I'll tell you what's kind of crazy though, is I can remember where a lot of these dragon symbols are. I don't even know why. I didn't try to dedicate them to memory, but I can remember them. See, I knew exactly where it was. I'm pretty sure on this one it is in like a tent somewhere. This might be one of the ones where I haven't found it yet. It wouldn't be a Stuck on Pandora Let's Play without at least half of the content being me trying to clear my throat. There's that frog back. There's that froggy doggy. It's a froggy dog. Which, if you don't know, is a dog that resembles a frog. I have a bearded dragon. I have a neighbor named Dean. I had the beardy on my back. His name's Gilbert. And Dean was like, "What is that, a frog you got there?" I turned around and showed him. He's like, "That's some frog." He's 110 years old. What's worse is that it appears People Can Fly expect sales to remain low enough that Square Enix will never reach a threshold in which royalty payments will be necessary. There can be no assurance that net proceeds from the sales of Outriders in the future periods will be sufficient for the publisher to recover the costs incurred to pay royalties to that group. Oh. Oh man, given that we recently heard reports that Square Enix lost about $200 million on the Marvel's Avengers and Guardian of the Galaxy games. Rough. That was another one, though, that was just killed by really bad word of mouth. When people started talking about all the freemium mechanics, the time gates, the lack of flexibility in the role-playing systems, that it was over. And people, like, talk a lot of shit about Destiny, but it was kind of first on the scene with a lot of that bullshit, and people tolerate it, and people got addicted to it, so now it doesn't even matter. But I think it also matters the advertising. Like, Genshin Impact has obviously got to have so much freemium shit to it that it's not even funny, and people love the shit out of that game. I don't even know what it, is about, but I know that it makes mad money. So, I don't know how you screw that up, actually. Square, how did you screw that up? How do you take a movie franchise that made billions of dollars, put it into video game format, put a bunch of freemium monetization shit all through it and lose money? Who does that? It could still be Square cannot sell on the IP at the moment because the publisher still bound a contract to People Can Fly. Whether or not the company will try another game in the series or pursue future DLC plans remains to be seen. I mean, they got a DLC coming out. Can new DLC reverse Outriders' fortunes? Probably not. I mean, it's the first game in a new IP that had really, all coming back to me now, a really bad launch. It wasn't because the game itself was bad, even though it had its fair share of bugs and bullshit. It was because of the network code. Badass Brigand's gonna get my Raspin to win. See, I just want to be waiting around a corner and a Montana runs past and you wait, you just hold off, and then his Miko comes bopping along following him, and there comes old Wrath, and you slice and knock him up in the air, so he's got that CC meta forever and ever. And then you Raspin to win. Everybody rages. What happened to our weekends doing that? What happened? Where did they go? Now I'm going to drink liquid sugar and see if I can get fat. Okay, health is regenerated, which is nice. Melee damage is obviously great. Did I ever max that out? I should probably max that out. And cut down on the cooldown on spin to wins. Hey, at least their character creator's pretty damn good, especially for our first effort. Let's talk to Borpo. It's going to be an interesting future for Square Enix. We've already examined why the company would sell off Tomb Raider, a series with 88 million lifetime sales, for so cheap. Wait, they did? What all have I missed? We've thought about Legacy of Kain. Hey, I played one of those games. It was fun. And Gax. Gax still exists? Whoa. And as owned now by a company that shock horror might acknowledge their existence. Outriders released on April 1st. Its World Slayer expansion gets a new subclass, a new endgame, and a new campaign. Wow, pretty big. So they're investing into Outriders. I don't care about this Call of Duty article. What did Square Enix sell it for? Why did it sell so cheap, it says? And they're down to just a few. Sold 3.4 million. Yeah, I mean, these Tomb Raider games still sell really well. So what the hell? Namely, it was eager to get rid of most of its notable brands. Okay, how much did it sell for? $300 million. I mean, that's still a lot of money. That's a ton of money. I don't really see that as being cheap. Tomb Raiders do really well and they're really successful, but that seems like that's a lot of money. In football club and financial trouble, often sell their best player for a cheaper fee if they can get it paid up front. If an expensive player gets an expensive player off the wage bill and gives them instant cash injection. Well, that makes sense. To be honest, I probably should do the random encounters because XP is really the issue here. I need some power because I'm just swinging my bat, which we're doing fine at, but it's pretty boring. I just want to apply skill points. I don't think it's until like level 20 or something that we get the subclass. It's worth doing these dungeons because these shrines actually make a noticeable difference, especially the XP boost one. Definitely can't do AoE mobbing for shit. I'm gonna go down during my spin to win, and that was just poorly timed. I think that definitely made a difference in cooldown though. That came back pretty fast. Just swinging a bat, swinging a bat. You know what's going well when I've been reading. I was even reading during the damn combat. Oh my god. Square Enix, it would appear, is eager to free itself from the suit. That's sweet. Of expensive studios and get a nice fat cash injection. Okay, you literally just rewrote that guy's tweet. Since when is Square Enix in trouble? What the hell? That's like one of the big boys. What did they do? What did they spend money on that went for shit? I guess probably those Marvel games. Enhancer paid more than double. Square sells top 3 studios. Crystal Dynamics. They sold DSX. Wow. Oh, they sold all of that for 300 million. Oh, that is pretty cheap. I mean, DSX was probably worth $100 million in and of itself, even though it's not, you know, as big as it once was. Tomb Raider by itself is worth 300 million, but to get all of that for 300 million, I guess that is pretty damn cheap. In that world where $300 million is like cheap. Oh, I need something shitty. Our damage is actually fine. We absolutely clawed through that guy's armor. Now the issues are flesh damage. There's not much I can do. Like, the combat is just get on stuff and swing and hope there's enough damage. which is not actually that much different than the gunplay. And Square Enix is in trouble. Well, feel like I'm up to date. In the world of gaming, that's usually like it. This thing happened. Whoa. There we go. A little bit of roid damage. That's what I want. I'll sacrifice some health for that. I hope it's enough. Here's hoping, bruh. This dungeon will mark an episode. Alright, our ult can officially do half of a war troll's health. The game is scaling with us. Is not... The whole over-leveling thing is not going to be a thing. We just have to hope we can somehow begin to patch a build together. Probably can kill the troll. That roid damage actually definitely made a difference. Oh, I wish there was some, like, Wrath had that huge damage resistance when he was in Spin to Win, which I think they eventually took away, but this being PvE, that being my only real damage. Okay. We were able to kill 2 guys. Hooray. This is not a poison damage weapon, but been smacking the hell out of some. Oh yeah, we're still on intense too, and I'm not changing it off. We have to suffer. We have to make this work. It's now going to be Borderlands, no hit run. We killed a guy. Okay, here we go. This is going to be the one. I can feel it because the AI's over there confused on just how to get over that gap. Don't worry, I got you. I can't shoot you, so I'll just come to you. Just hang on. See, now right now this would be like late game Wrath, and that's a Montana. Not a Kelvin though. Kelvin the meta. Kelvin the impossible to kill because it can just get away. Best Atticus PS4. Okay. Spinning to winning. I think we've been kind of doing the same thing with Borderlands since 2009. And I don't think Gearbox at all, like, embraces that as like, yeah, we probably should, maybe we should evolve the formula just a touch. Like, this is a step in the right direction, right? But it's not a full-on evolution by any stretch. It's some other little things. Still like it, you know, still really do. It's just thinking of in a larger sense, thinking about Borderlands as a whole, well, these last 5 years, 6 years. Borderlands since 2. Two Point Campus just got delayed. That was like the big news for me. Oh, I was just watching a YouTube video in the background that was bitching about the DLC. And yeah, he was right about everything. They did not acknowledge that. I guess that's probably the best way, maybe. But what I really wanted to hear as a fan is I wanted to hear, like, we hear you. And there's bigger and better stuff coming. Don't worry. This was the appetizer before the season pass really gets crazy. But that's not what it's going to be, is it? They're all going to be like DLC 1. They're going to add 4 rooms, which is nothing. Just add procedural generation. Like, these rooms don't even need to be handcrafted. They just need to have, like, different variables. It's a sand biome. It's like they already do that. These are the Bright Hoof rooms. There's the Ruins rooms. There's the Oasis rooms, the Sea rooms. There's like 6 of each of them or something. Okay, it's one of these rooms, and it's exactly, and then it's, you know, small, medium, large, which will be defined by, you know, it's like 25 in the X, it's 30 in the Y. All right, now put these assets down, which will lay in the, yeah, etc. Like, you could build a whole algorithm around it, so it doesn't just make bullshit. Gearbox loves procedural generation, loves it, and yet the chaos chambers are all these really small little rooms for you to battle in. There's no slaughter chef. Like, they need so many more decoys. I made a post on Reddit, but people don't give a shit about what I say, but I'm telling you, it would help the game. I'm going to read it because I'm 36 minutes into whatever this playthrough is at this point. Let me see. I said important things. All right, important. Featured runs, guaranteed items, whereas the chaos levels aren't procedural. See, each DLC should bring 5 new rooms. That, like, yeah. See, it's like Oblivion Gates. Oblivion Gates, if you played a lot of Oblivion, will start to run together. Like, you can... Oh my god, he ran away. Fudge. And I think that means restart the whole thing, because, yeah, that's how this works. But here's what I was going to talk about. Like, Risk of Rain 2 or Hades, alternate paths open up, new unlocks, new ways to grind, new ways to play. The red portal for raid bosses, it's like one of those paths, but there should be paths that are like, here's a circle of slaughter. Go for it. Here's a horde mode. And this game, you mostly killed like the snakes and the goblins. Holy shit, we're doing this again. This episode goes until I beat this dungeon. And unlike a classic Bethesda dungeon, there isn't something cool at the end of this outside of a shard piece. It's just some combat encounters and... See, they'll let this stuff to like, see, but that's what games and dungeons ultimately boil down to. You kill some shit in a room. Yeah, but it's how you kill that shit in that room and what you get at the end of that. You can boil stuff down to its core mechanics and cut out the busy work, cut out the chafe, but you still have to... Then you gotta go back and season it and add the right garnish. Or make that thing really fun, and in Wonderlands it does tend to run together. This Let's Play has become mostly me bitching about this game while saying, but I do like it. I want to be playing it, but I just wish it was better. I want to love it. I haven't fallen in love with the game for a little while, though. Holy shit, come on. And love in the case of games is like one more turn, one more play, 2 hours passes, like hooked. Go into that flow. Civ, I thought I was going to get hooked on. I finally taught myself Civ and got into it. And I did have like a couple really late sessions with it. And then I just strongly disliked it because it just takes so damn long to play that game. I'm sure there's a lot that I don't know about that game, and I know it's good, but I fell in love with Civilization Revolution, which I know is a simpler version. Something about Civ 6. They also have a really weird business model by selling it. It goes on sale all the time, but all those like EA games, they always sell the base game really cheap, but then they have these huge price points for the DLC. Well, they finally put it cheap. It was like 15 bucks for the Platinum Edition the week after they had sold the base game for $9. And there's no just like upgrade. You can't pay like 10 bucks or whatever and go to the Platinum Edition. You either did or you didn't. So then you have to buy the expansion, which even then it isn't all the DLCs because it's EA. EA always piecemeals their DLC and sells their DLC for full damn price. It's more expensive to buy the DLCs than it is the game. Like The Sims, they basically give you The Sims 4. The game goes on sale all the time for like $2 or $3, but the DLC is 40 to 50 bucks for like the big ones, the kids, the pets, stuff that would normally be like a feature update. That's how EA makes all their damn money on that stuff. And then of course they have a bunch of shitty DLC that doesn't mean anything, but they sell that at a premium too. That's their business model. You either have annual releases like Madden and FIFA that make them an absurd amount of money still, or that's like for those people that buy that game and play that game, that's the game they play that year. I think the problem is they're running into a thing where it's like they can't get any more out of it. They can't get the hardcore to like embrace it. They're stuck with the same audience, and like that's fine. But when you're talking about shareholders and stock prices, you got to find a way to always get more juice out of it. You got to find more blood. I noticed they're like doing a lot of outreach to people like me that don't play sports games anymore. By that I mean like the general hardcore gamer that actually games year round, buys a few games a year. They want to try to get them to start buying Maddens again. Because I've seen it have Prime. Prime has got like, hey, you get the super pack because I sell loot boxes and that, which is just bullshit. Or you can now stream it on Game Pass and in the cloud. Like, please just play Madden. And then I see it's EA again because they're saying, hey, you can play this. It's free basically. Like, it's $2. Buy it. Why would you not buy this? It's $2. The reason is because it's give away the razor, sell them the razor blades. That's EA's game model. One more room. Can we do it? I'd love to find a new melee weapon. I know that. I haven't found one for a while. Gonna hit level 11 though. See, this game's like, hey, you should be shooting guns, man. What are you doing? We're doing a melee only run. Duh. I think there's a mini boss here. Maybe that's what got us the last time. Or it might be because one of these brigands just ran away. Enemy diversity in this game sucks. There's like generic COV style humans, which aren't COV even though they shoot, act, and are COV. There's those little orcs, which are only like goblins, which are like in one place. And then the snake ladies. Skeletons. You see skeletons quite a bit too. Dude, every enemy they've ever done could be in this game. I don't know if they have the enemy. Oh, hold on.